Media Day for the NBA was recently upon us, and oh boy, so much goes down at these events. Revelations from Media Day include Zion Williamson's surgery and when he'll be back in the game. Kawhi locked into a huge lucrative deal with the LA Clippers, and Klay Thompson touches on his return to the NBA. Additionally, some controversy has been circling around the NBA and players getting vaccinated. Some have no issue getting the jab, while others take more of an anti-vax status. Stay tuned to find out all the juicy insider details. Biggest takeaways from Media Day. If you've never witnessed a Media Day for the NBA, then you are missing out. So much goes down at these events, with new revelations and news for the upcoming season coming out. This Media Day was no exception. Will Zion Williamson return to the NBA soon, or will he be out for another season? What about Klay Thompson? Is he going to return to the court? All of these details surface, so let's dive in. The NBA season 2021-22 is officially underway, with teams holding Media Day to get things off. There were plenty of highlights, ranging from injured players returning to players wearing new outfits that may take some getting accustomed to. Okay, let's dive into the most important takeaways from Media Day. Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, David Griffin, announced at Media Day that New Orleans Pelicans star Zion Williamson had surgery this offseason to mend a fractured right foot. Williamson had the injury before Summer League, according to Griffin, and the Pelicans are optimistic that he could be back in time for the regular season. In their regular season opener on October 20th, the Pelicans take on the Philadelphia 76ers. It'll be a long time before Kawhi Leonard and Klay Thompson are able to return to the court. Zion Williamson wants to accomplish it on the first night of the season. The New Orleans forward had off-season surgery to fix a broken bone in his right foot, but he says he's been working with his trainer every day to avoid missing any time. Williamson stated, "I anticipate being back for the first game." That timeline is plausible, according to the Pelicans president, David Griffin, albeit there isn't one yet for certain other NBA players. On July 13, Leonard had surgery to repair a partial ACL tear in his right knee. While on the bench, he intends to attempt to make myself as relevant as possible until he returns. Thompson has unfortunately missed out on the last 2 seasons due to a ruptured ACL and a torn right Achilles tendon, respectively. The latter occurred in November, and the Golden State guard has stated that he will not be able to return to basketball for another year or so. Thompson's return date has yet to be determined by the Warriors. Thompson might return sometime maybe in December, maybe in January. I don't know for sure when, according to general manager Bob Myers. Thompson hasn't been cleared to scrimmage yet, but he'll take part in non-contact activities during training camp. If you were to watch Klay, certainly at this point working out, if you didn't know, you'd say, well, this guy looks like he can play now, Myers told reporters at Media Day, but he hasn't played 5-on-5 in quite some time, so that's up to the training staff, and it's up to the individuals to see when that's the right time to come back. But we'll tell you, I just don't have the exact answer to those questions yet. Kawhi is locked in. Now, this Media Day revelation absolutely blew our mind. Kawhi Leonard has received a huge incentive to stay with the LA Clippers for a long time. Try hundreds of millions. Kawhi Leonard, a 4-year, $176.3 million agreement with the Los Angeles Clippers, has committed his long-term future to the team. "I've arrived. I've come to become a Clipper," Leonard remarked. "Unless something extraordinary happens, I'm not joining another team. I intend to stay for the long haul." When asked if he'll return during the 21-22 season, Leonard, who had surgery in July to repair a partially torn right ACL, gave an update on his injury, telling ESPN's Youngmisuk that his injury is day-to-day. While ACL injuries typically require a 12-month rehabilitation period, it's unclear whether Leonard will return this season at all, with Clippers head coach Tyronn Lue limiting expectations. "If it's going to be next season, it'll be next season. We don't want to compel him to return too early," Lue remarked. Now, we know Zion Williamson and Klay Thompson may not be returning to the playing field anytime soon, but what else came out of the big NBA Media Day? There was mention of Derrick Rose and him potentially becoming a backup. Yes, you heard that correctly. Let's dive into that, shall we? Derrick Rose now a backup. Media Day revelations. Derrick Rose, a former NBA MVP was the starting point guard for the New York Knicks at the end of last season. He's back to being a backup now. When the Knicks play their first game, newcomer Kemba Walker will be at the point guard on the court, according to Rose. "Oh, he's getting started," Rose remarked. After joining the Knicks last season, Rose came off the bench in all but 3 of his 35 games, ranking 3rd in votes for the NBA's Sixth Man Award. He was re-signed to stay with the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau, his former coach in Chicago, after moving into the starting lineup for the final 3 games of the Knicks' playoff loss to Atlanta. When heard about Rose's statements about being the starter, Walker, a New York native who joined the Knicks in the offseason, was surprised. "I'm not sure about it," Walker answered. "I don't know yet. However, that's quite nice. D. Rose has always been a favorite of mine. Whether you start or don't start, doesn't matter." Consequences for NBA players who don't get vaccinated. Just like everyone else in the world right now, the COVID-19 vaccine is the topic on the tip of everyone's tongue. Are you going to get it? Do you think we should have to get it? So much controversy has stemmed surrounding this vaccine that it's no wonder it's spread into professional sports such as the NBA. The NBA confirmed on Wednesday that players who refuse to get vaccinated against COVID-19 risk losing millions of dollars. Mike Bass, the NBA's executive vice president of communications, stated in a statement on Wednesday morning that any player who elects not to comply with local immunization laws will not be paid for games that he misses. The NBA does not compel its players to get vaccinated, yet they are subjected to more stringent guidelines than those who have received the COVID-19 vaccine. Local rules in the cities like New York and San Francisco, on the other hand, prevent the unvaccinated from entering certain public spaces, including indoor sports facilities. Unvaccinated players for clubs like the Brooklyn Nets and Golden State Warriors would be unable to play in home games as a result. Around 90% of NBA players got immunized, which is significantly higher than the general population of the United States. However, there are concerns about a few high-profile players. When asked about his immunization status, Nets all-star point guard Kyrie Irving declined to attend the team's media day earlier this week, saying, "I'd love to just keep that private and handle it the correct way with my team and go forward together with a plan." Andrew Wiggins of the Warriors stated he too wanted to keep his vaccination status a secret. Irving is set to earn just about $35 million this season, so sitting out every Nets home game would cost him a lot of money. The New York Knicks, the Nets' crosstown rivals, claim that currently all of their players have been fully vaccinated, and they stand behind professional NBA players being vaccinated for all the players and those associated with health and well-being. LeBron James, Irving's former teammate, said on Tuesday that he was first extremely suspicious of the vaccine before concluding it was the proper thing to do. Another pro-NBA player, Giannis Antetokounmpo, said he got vaccinated to protect his family, while Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers and Memphis Grizzlies point guard John Morant both said people they knew died from COVID-19 influenced their decisions. "I know a lot of people who got sick and died. I have a baby girl. I travel a lot. I can't bring COVID back to her." 22-year-old Morant said, "I'm not mad at people for saying I need to do my research or they'll get to take the steps that make them comfortable." Lillard said, "But I have a lot of people in my family that I'm tight with and I spend a lot of time around, and I'm just not going to put their health and their lives in danger because I want to do research." The remarks came just days after Rolling Stones released a detailed article on the anti-vaccine movement in the NBA. While Kyrie Irving, James's former championship teammate and vice president of the Players Union Executive Committee, being the most well-known of those involved. And there you go, everything you need to know regarding the big NBA Media Day and the juiciest information that came from that event. Additionally, who also touched on NBA players and whether or not they're required to get the COVID-19 vaccine and how some of them feel about this. A very controversial subject in itself. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. Did we miss any interesting Media Day news? Do you think the NBA players should have to get the vaccines to play? Thanks for watching.